Welcome back to the Buds in the Box YouTube channel. Before we get into the mock trades, I just want to let you guys know that the giveaway is still open and we are going to be announcing winners on our video on Sunday morning. So look out for that. To enter the giveaway, so you guys can win any jersey you'd like, just comment which jersey you would want to win. If you want to win price, put price in the comments, and like and make sure you're subscribed. And you'll be entered for a chance to win any jersey. I guess that's it for the giveaway.
Yeah,
And
after the video, we'll announce it. We're making a video on Saturday night. We'll upload it Sunday morning, and whoever we say wins will you'll just have to DM us on Instagram.
Yeah.
To claim it. So
yeah, at Buds in the Box. So go follow Instagram
Yeah.
as well. Now the mock trades. So we are going to go in a row. We're going to say we have 6 mock trades in total. I'm going to go first, and then we're going to go to Felly and then to Jude. So let's just get right into it. I feel like mine is the most realistic just because Raquel is probably the biggest target for the Leafs. He's kind of like a top 6 forward, but his value isn't at like an all-time high. So, and he fits the cap space. So I said Toronto gives Kerfoot and a second-round pick for Rickard Raquel. And the reason I said this, obviously, Kerfoot isn't like you can't do 1-for-1 Kerfoot for Raquel. That's just not enough value. I don't think the Ducks take that. Clearly, the Ducks are kind of in a rebuild right now. They're last place in the league or near the bottom. And I think they'll take a second-round pick, if not a first-round pick. That might be pushing it a little bit, but still. I don't think we give up a prospect for Raquel. I think a second-rounder will suffice. And, Raquel, like the Leafs, you'll see in our mock trades, we give away Kerfoot a lot, VC, stuff like that. Those are the players that, the Leafs can afford to lose. Kerfoot doesn't really have a role. He's kind of in between the bottom 6, the top 6. And,
yeah,
we need
sorry, you made me think Kerfoot is kind of the player that's like interchangeable. Sorry, go ahead. Like
exactly.
there's other players in the league like him.
Yeah, he's not an established top 6 forward, and we need that established top 6 forward. Raquel would fit perfectly. Whether the chemistry is there, we don't know. There's only one way to find out. Trade for him. So that's my mock trade. I feel like it would be a good addition to the Leafs. Felly, take us away for yours.
Yeah, sorry, just to touch on yours for a
Okay,
second.
go ahead.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that trade. The only thing that kind of worries me a little bit is that Raquel's a righty, and the Leafs have a lot of righties in their top 6 right now. But anyways, so my trades with Buffalo, and this is kind of unrealistic. I watched a video on it a couple days ago, but in this case, the Leafs would be giving up Kerfoot, Liljegren, and a first rounder from this year. And the reason I put the first rounder in there is because the Leafs would be receiving Hall. For Liljegren and Kerfoot, I honestly think Hall is like I would put like a lower pick in, I think, if it was just for Hall, but Buffalo would have to retain some of his salary, 47% of it to be exact. So that's why that would be around $4 million for them to retain. But in exchange for Liljegren and Kerfoot and a first rounder, I can definitely see them doing that. And the only reason I would think that the Leafs would do that is because it would be a pure rental player. Hall would be able to play on the left wing with either Tavares or Nylander or Matthews and Marner, and that's lethal. Just saying it out loud. So yeah, that's I've got Hall coming from Buffalo for Liljegren, Kerfoot, and a first rounder. The only issue would be the 47% retained salary, but Buffalo could be willing to do it because they're not going for it at all this year. They don't
Clearly.
need that. Yeah, obviously they don't need that money because that money is just gone at the end of the year anyways. So I could see that happening, but
yeah, the only thing Buffalo's going for is most losses in a row record.
yeah,
And on
exactly.
that note, we'll hand it off to Jude with his trade.
Okay, so I've chosen Travis Dermott and a 4th rounder for Sammy Vatanen. I think Dermott is I don't know. He's also one of those as much as I hate saying it, he's one of those Kerfoots kind of. He isn't locked in that place. You know what I mean? He isn't a definitive. He's not that. Oh yeah, like Dermot's our guy. Dermot's our go-to. And Vatanen, he's 29 right now, so he's still got youth in him to an extent. And then that fourth rounder, like kind of just maybe gives hope for New Jersey for this trade. But I don't know. I personally think Vatanen's a great defenseman, and I think he'd be a pretty good fit. He's a good two-way, and he's playing pretty well right now. So, and also a lot of hate I've been seeing on Dermott these past games. I think the Leaf fans have been singling him out. So,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe we scare him out of Toronto. Who knows?
Yeah, I think Dermott Vatanen's a step up from Dermott. Not too much of a step up, but he is a step up nonetheless. And putting in a fourth rounder just is kind of that value that's between a guy like Dermott and a guy like Vatanen, I guess. So, you'd have to see how everything works out, because honestly, from the last couple of games, Dermott and Bogosian look much better than Hull and Muzzin, to be quite honest. So, but anyways.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I mean, Dermott's just not physical enough, and Vatten brings that defensive he's kind of a veteran, but he's still got that youth, like you said. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm going to continue actually with a New Jersey trade that I think will benefit the Leafs. I've kind of gone for, my theme here was forwards. So I think that the Leafs could use a bump up in their top six. So I've actually gone. So Toronto gives up Kerfoot, VC, and a second round pick for Miles Wood and Jesper Bratt. No cap salvage or anything, just straight up those two, no conditions. I feel like Miles Wood would bring kind of like that two-way game, and also like that spark, kind of like how Goodrow and Colbin brought to the Tampa Bay Lightning last year in their cup run. And I think Jesper Bratt, he could definitely fit in that top six role with either Matthews, Marner, or John Tavares and William Nylander. He's a physical guy. He'll get in those corners and he'll score you some goals. I think one of those lines, they need like a jump start kind of, and then they'll get going. So I think that would be a good trade for both sides. And the second round pick for New Jersey, how could they say no to that? Felly, your next trade?
Yeah, I mean, I was also kind of targeting another top six player for the Leafs, because I think on good days the defense is extremely solid. The forwards, so yeah, a lot like Eric. I'm kind of sticking to getting a top six player. I think the defense on a good day is pretty solid, and the bottom six forwards are also pretty solid when you look at it. So I think just getting just a left winger basically is what I'm thinking of when I look at the Leafs lineup, because you have Marner and Nylander as basically your two set right wingers in that top six. You have Matthews and Tavares as your two set centers, and then the left wing position is kind of interesting in that Leafs lineup in the top six. So I have another one. It's a bit of a reach, I think. The only reason I'm giving up a little bit more is because this guy that I'm trading for, his salary or his contract is for 2 years. So you'd get him for the rest of this year and one more year after. But he is a left winger. So I'm giving away Kerfoot, Liljegren, and a first rounder again. I've got Liljegren in there because I think this guy is worth a first rounder, and I don't think Kerfoot and a first rounder would be enough. And then I've got them receiving Philip Forsberg with only 29% of his salary retained. It's about $1 million. So if Nashville was willing to, trade Forsberg and get Kerfoot, because Kerfoot signed for, I think, 2 years after this one, Liljegren, a prospect who's supposed to do pretty well in the future. You know, he's rated pretty highly, but can't really see him jumping into the Leafs lineup anytime soon. So that's kind of giving him a change of scenery too. And then the first rounder is just kind of to put the cherry on top. But I have another trade for Nashville just because that's a little unrealistic. It could happen, but it's a little unrealistic, I think. So just instead of Liljegren and a first rounder, I have Kerfoot, Galchenyuk, and a third rounder for Mikael Granlund. Granlund's a centerman, but he can play left wing, so that's why that's a little bit more. I think he's a valuable player as well. Not as good as Forsberg, obviously, not as highly rated, but he could definitely fit in with Tavares and Nylander. I think would be a great line, and then have Hyman on that first line. That's what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, I agree. One of those two players would definitely fit into the top 6 role. I think especially with Nylander and Tavares. So Jude, what was your last trade?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm still on that defensive kind of end, and then I also, kind of on the same note as Felly, with a left-handed forward. So I'm giving away. This is kind of a pattern now. Kerfoot VC, and now with me Dermott again, and a second round pick. So I think Kerfoot and VC, they make up a little bit of value. That the second round just kind of fills that gap, because even though Hoffman was on a PTO, I'm pretty sure this year, was he not?
Yep. PTO.
So even though he was on that PTO, or what?
Yeah, PTO. Like they signed him to a
Okay.
PTO and then they signed him to a contract.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so even though he was on a PTO, I think he's still a great goal scorer, a great overall hockey player, and so I think for that, I think we're getting a pretty good value there, and he could definitely fit on top 2 lines for sure. I think he'd be great on the Tavares line, to be honest. And with Dermott, you're probably thinking why he's in there, and with the second rounder, Vince Dunn, I think he's a great lockdown defenseman, and also he scored that great goal in the playoffs. So I don't know, that he can do everything. Kind of the same with Vatanen. I find they're very similar players to that two-way, veterans to an extent, both of them. But I think this trade's perfect because that kind of, that, like we said with Kerfoot, he's that missing piece, that, and maybe Hoffman could be that piece. And he's not unbelievably expensive. And then we lose VC, it's not going to be heartbreaking when we lose VC and that second rounder. So those are my 2 trades.
So wait, what team is that with? Sorry.
St. Louis.
Yeah. The only concern I have about that is just VC. I don't honestly I don't see any value in VC.
Yeah.
Like there is a little bit, but I don't even think St. Louis would be able to use him in a playoff run or maybe on the 4th line.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think he just needs a fresh start, and he's had the potential. Obviously, he's a Hobey Baker winner. He just needs to find the right fit, and a lot of players who have kind of fallen off have gone to St. Louis. For example, Mike Hoffman.
Yeah.
Mike Hoffman kind of fell off, and he ended up in St. Louis, and now he's having a good year. That's the only reason why I kind of convinced Jude to make that trade.
Yeah, I just think, VC's only on a 1-year deal worth $800,000 or whatever. So even if he does well, if he were to go there, just I don't even know, would they even want to sign him again?
Yeah, I think so, right? Because he's just trying to find that fit, and I think if he performs well, they're definitely going to sign him back. He's not going to want that much money.
Yeah, I'm just being devil's advocate. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Some of these trades, they may not work 100%. We tried a lot of them in NHL 21 actually.
Yeah,
maybe
that's kind of how we.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, maybe instead of a second round pick, a first round pick, small details like that would make the trade happen. We don't know. We're not GMs of the Leafs, right? We're just coming up. We're not really we didn't really focus on who we're giving up as much as who we wanted or who we needed. Like we were trying to doing our best job to find the best players that could fit in the Leafs and kind of be like a rental. So
Yeah, that's exactly it. We're just trying to find that like a player that could be helpful in a playoff run, basically. But honestly, I don't even know if any of these players that we've mentioned could overshadow the void that we have in net as Leafs fans. So I mean,
I was thinking of locking one up, but as you said, Felly, in that last podcast or in whatever podcast, right? We'd only be getting like a fringe starter,
yeah,
we'd maybe be getting, I don't know, like
you really
maybe
couldn't.
Brian Elliott or something.
You really couldn't get too much for Anderson right now, anyways. And he's solid enough that he could go off at some points or he could play well at some points, but you really never know. He's too unpredictable. But I was talking to someone and I was saying that last year the Leafs at the trade deadline had Leonard, retained his salary, and then shipped him to Vegas. So super weird. But imagine if the Leafs just like traded for Leonard and that and had Anderson and Leonard as two goalies. That would be crazy. Yeah, that would be nuts. But
right now I take Fleury though. I definitely take Fleury.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, even just imagine if Anderson had, I mean, Campbell's great, but like, I don't know. Imagine just having two starters as your goalies. Like that would just I'd feel so comfortable all the time.
Yeah, well,
You know, it's like who's starting tonight? I'm kind of worried, but it's like, oh, you know,
Campbell is playing like a starter. It's just he can't stay healthy. So
well, that's the thing. So you really can't count on him. So it's either Anderson or Hutchinson. When I look at the lineup and I'm like, oh my God, Hutchinson's playing. Like, what's gonna happen? And then what happened last night? We all know what happened. But anyways.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess that does it. So those are 6 possible trades that the Leafs can do. Maybe not exactly, but who knows? And I guess we'll see what moves Dubas makes. In Dubas we trust. So thank you guys for watching on YouTube, and we'll see you guys next time. This has been the Buds in the Box. Bye for now.